Yvonne, thank you so much for joining me for my very, very first Book the Hour video interview. Um, can we start with a little bit of a brief description of who you are, your background, your role, the things that you like to do?
Sure. Well, okay. So at a very young age, I really got excited about business. I think I thought I was great at selling candy bars and newspapers, and just really had thrived in business and entrepreneurship, and really had that work ethic that you need to be successful. So I really always felt like I was, my calling was to work in business. So that started me off with really having, ambition to go to work, to do things. I did everything from a paper route to then transitioning to, I sold credit card applications at J.C. Penney when I was 15, and I was a candy striper at 12, as well as, worked in retail since I was old enough to be able to work in retail. When I decided to go to college, I went to college and worked at the same time. So I went to school full time and I worked full time. I went for international business because I speak Polish, so I've always been excited about culture and diversity and Europe. And so I thought, wow, that would give me an opportunity to really leverage my language, my culture, my education, all in one. I went to school in New York, New Jersey area. And while I was going to school, I was also working at a telecom company in the World Trade Center. And so I was their sales manager there. So I helped run the office, make sure that we submitted our paperwork, had everything basically for that sales team, to motivate them, to work with them, to drive sales. And it was exciting because I was going into the city for the first time, and that's a big deal, especially for this girl from Hartford, Connecticut. So it was a real achievement. I got to go to school and I did that. So it gave me an opportunity to grow my career at the same time.
Yep.
Then I got married. And when I got married, I decided that we decided that we wanted to go south where, the weather is warm,
Right.
the sun is out all the time, there's no snow. So my husband used to live in Charlotte, so he brought me down and introduced me, and we resigned our jobs, packed up a truck, and just moved.
Wow.
Those are the things you do when you're 20, right?
Right.
I had a little bit of a journey, but, ultimately landed at Bank of America. I took some classes in general e-commerce, how to build a website, how to deal with data, all of that. And this was, when websites were just starting, it seemed like. I mean, it was a long time ago. And I think it was before 2000. So just to give you context. And when I started at Bank of America and I brought that, it was so eye-opening because people listened to me. Even though I was this associate that came in, this little analyst that came in, like I would be in meetings and I would give recommendations and everybody'd listen. And I was like, wow, it was exciting for me. And I felt like I could give more and more ideas and recommendations. So it was wonderful. It was so enthralling. So I grew, I think at Bank of America, they were able to foster my creative thinking, my innovation, provide me challenges and opportunities and growth. So over the course of my 15-year career with Bank of America, I was able to grow from an analyst to an SVP. And that was a huge journey. I ended up going through different lines of businesses. So I started off in e-commerce and built small business, worked in small business e-commerce, and then did some consumer e-commerce stuff, benchmarking around free bill pay. If you can imagine, bill pay used to cost the customer to get bill pay. And so we did this whole benchmarking exercise around why should the bank, why is this a value add proposition, and why should this be a channel? And then, you know, that this is going to make our offerings more valuable. And so we should really give this service for free. And what are we going to get out of it? And then it was about the value of metrics. What's the difference between activation and adoption? And so I remember going through and talking about, you know, okay, so we have all these people that activated, but nobody's using the application. Nobody's using bill pay. So it was all about changing your metrics, right? So I very quickly got very analytical and found my passion. I couldn't pass algebra for years, but statistics was like my thing, right? And I very quickly said, oh my gosh, I love coding, I love data, I love pulling numbers, I love creating dashboards and scorecards. And so I ended up really fostering that and built dashboards, business dashboards for card services, for e-commerce, for merchant, and really learned how to code SAS and Unix and SQL because at that point, you know, when you're developing dashboards, the most valuable thing to those dashboards is the data.
Yep.
And so you don't want to wait on somebody to give you the data so you could do a dashboard. You want to pull your data. You want to know your data. You want to be able to digest, to make sure there aren't redundancies in the data, that the accuracy is there, that you're getting it from the right, that you understand the values in which you're pulling the data. And then because when you're doing a dashboard, one of the most important things you're going to do is explain the numbers. And if you can't defend your numbers and explain your numbers, that dashboard and those numbers have no value whatsoever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yes.
Eyes on where we met.
Yes. We're still not there, believe it or not. Almost. So I definitely wanted to go, as I was at Bank of America, I wanted to do capital markets. I was really interested. I got a little bored with marketing and e-commerce and card, and I wanted more growth. I applied for some internal jobs, but honestly, I think Bank of America at one point didn't want to take the risk on me, and Wachovia did. And they hired me as a business analyst project manager for their wholesale bank or their wholesale operations. And I was doing business analysis for their asset-based lending application, which was also for CLOs, collateralized loan obligations. So I became a business analyst, and I literally built that system to do instrument level accounting. And so the different tranches and legs and calculations and algorithms, as well as the UI and customer experience for these operations folks that had to maintain all the collateral in the system. So I had done that and worked there and really enjoyed Wachovia, enjoyed the leaders that I worked with, had some of the best managers. And unfortunately, then the 2008 crash, the crash of 2008 came. And they definitely weren't doing any CLOs, and they weren't doing any CMBXs, and fixed income was kind of in a hulking stop, right?
Yeah. I was there too.
Yeah, so what happened is I did end up getting displaced. And so immediately, though, I think within days, I had another opportunity, and it was to come back to Bank of America, my comfort zone, right? And I was a technical delivery manager and working on Countrywide transition. That was when Bank of America bought Countrywide, and now we had to reconcile both platforms. And I built out all their tools that were like, it was the calculations for what can I afford in a mortgage? Both companies had them. Which calculator was the best? How would we engineer? How would we incorporate it into our website? So all of those different types of tools that Countrywide had and Bank of America, identifying and then really implementing. And that whole transition, if you know transition projects, they are high intensity, high stress, high deliverables, but they're fun. They're really passionate.
It was also one of my specialties, yes.
Right? There's
Yes,
something about, it's like you get that adrenaline rush, right? When you
exactly.
work on
Yeah,
these high visibility projects that
yeah,
have high demands.
yeah,
So, go figure, I like those too.
yeah.
So then I got into the risk space at Bank of America. I applied for a position in quantitative risk. That was when the TARP money had to be paid back, and we had to do stress testing and, risk appetite and all of that. So
Yeah, and the
then,
C car and all that kind of stuff.
yes, all of that. C-cars, exactly. That was my space. They needed somebody to build out their technology PMO. So I built out their technology PMO. I had portfolios, I had portfolio managers. And then we built out, basically, we introduced Agile to the bank. That was the first group at Bank of America to take on Agile. So, and to do traditional Agile the way it's meant to be done. Not any version of Iterfall or something like that, but like traditional Agile. And so our team was all trained. We brought in professional Scrum Masters that went through and just trained everybody, including the business partners, and then got their buy-in. So that was really huge for us. And so I led that effort, a lot of initiatives that were regulatory related or risk related. And so that was the time of, reducing our risk, right?
Right.
So I did that for a while, and then I went to basically where we met, which
Right.
was the data architecture team, and it was more data retention and disposition, and all the enhancements in architecture. And so I did that for a little while. And a great opportunity surfaced at AIG, where I could work in digital and head their digital operations for digital security utility, which is secondary authentication. So going back to digital, you see me kind of pop back and forth from data, analytics, capital markets, digital. It's kind of like I'm left-brained and right-brained. So it's kind of where I'm in the middle and I can't get enough of either. So there was a whole lot of digital transformation that was going on in AIG. Unfortunately, the CEO, I guess, resigned. And when the CEO left and resigned, all the focus and strategy that was in place was all in question. And then, of course, so digital lost out. That centralization did not happen and did not get retained. So unfortunately, I'm sad to say nobody at AIG that was with me in digital is at AIG anymore. So that was a big change. In the midst of that really coming to the end, I decided to become an entrepreneur and opened 2 lash lounges. I opened my first one, I signed my franchise agreement right when, actually, I think the week I was displaced at AIG was the week I signed my franchise agreement at the Lash Lounge.
Wow. I remember when I saw you, I think in one of the social media platforms, and then we also talked at the same time. I'm like, wow, brave new world for Yvonne.
Yes, and I've learned a lot. So now I have 2 locations, and they've been open close to 3 years, and I've weathered COVID and still weathering COVID. So, having good plans and business continuity and recovery, doing all of that for us, making sure you can get a business up and running, putting the processes and the controls in place, because this is supposed to be an absentee owned business. So basically, I built this business, or decided to do this franchise, because I would still be able to have a career. You're going to make a mistake, but learn from it, do it better next time.
And you can't be afraid of making the same mistake. Yeah.
But it's hard because I also have in my vocabulary, or like, I can't fail. I can fail. I cannot fail. I will not fail. So it's like, on one hand, I've got the devil telling me, no way, you're not failing ever. We cannot do this. And on the other way, you were saying, it's okay, but it's really not, but it's okay.
Well, a mistake is not a failure, right?
Yeah.
Because a success is a journey, right?
It is.
You just want to make sure that your step forward is a little bit bigger than your step backwards.
Yeah, exactly. So, so I took a job at Wells Fargo as a product owner. It was a natural position that they felt I would be a good fit because I did asset-based lending. This was asset-based lending. This is their largest platform. It's all the collateralized loans for that were asset-backed loans, term loans, revolvers, in the commercial bank. And so I owned the application, all the backlog, prioritization, the product strategy, the implementation of the programs. All of the business analysts reported to me, and I worked with the development teams on a daily basis, going into scrums, prioritizing, working with stakeholders. My app was in a decommissioning app stage, but not immediately, just like in 10 years it would go away. So what that meant is you never can do enhancements or have funding for enhancements. And it was always fix things and bugs and compliance.
It was running, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So in our technology roadmap speak is maintenance mode.
Yes, you're like me and you're innovative and you want to deliver for your client and you want everybody to be happy and you want to show progress and just really go above and beyond, and you can't. Journeys are wonderful and you learn from every single one of them. And here I am.
Right.
I got a call from you and I was like, oh, absolutely love it.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about what is your dream job, right? Well, what is your dream job in the next 1 to 5 years? And then where does Yvonne see Yvonne in 10 years? You know?
Yeah. First of all, I thought about this for a while. So this is one of those things that you think about and you're like, what is your dream job, right?
Right.
Um, I think I want to work for an international company that empowers and that empowers their employees to deliver for their customer, to deliver innovations, new ideas, and exceed expectations. So biggest thing is I want to be passionate about what I do. And in order to be passionate about what I do, I have to believe that it's going to help our customer. I will deliver whatever is the need for that business and for that client. And I'll learn it and I'll deliver it and I'll excel at it and I'll think about new innovations. So that I not only give them their expectations, but I exceed their expectations because I give them more opportunities and more something above and beyond because I'm passionate about what I do. I'm looking to mentor, to coach, to work with teams, to work as a team, to work in great culture, and really kind of leverage me in any which way you can leverage me.
What do you like besides working?
What are my passions?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about that also, and I was like, I've got a lot of passions, don't I? Most importantly, I think what I'm focusing on, and I can tell you what my next 10 years are going to be focused on: building relationships and partnerships with other small business owners, with entrepreneurs, with clients, so that I can understand the needs of the market as the market grows, and as I get, as years go by and things change. I want to be able to be always adaptive and flexible and focused and ready for that change. And I want to be leading the charge in that innovation. So I want to help small businesses and others, be successful, and anything they can do to leverage my skills, I would love to do.
Can people book you by the hour? And if yes, for what?
Okay.
How?
So I would love for people to book me by the hour. I think it would be great. There's a lot of things I can help with. So if you think about my product management and product strategy, so they have a new product they want to get into the market, they have a new system or platform, and they want me to take a look at the user experience and help them map that strategy. I'd love to do that with them. If they have a small business they need to get off the ground, if they're looking at, taking a small business and making it a franchise, being a franchisor, or even purchasing a franchise, and want to hear about my experiences and my knowledge and my challenges and and most importantly, how to do it right.
Yes.
and how to make the right choices. You know, an hour is not long, but you can definitely get some great feedback. And get some great knowledge and understanding about what are the risks and what are some of the things that you can do better, so that they can do it better than I did, right? So
Yeah,
they
they
can
can
learn from
learn they can learn from your years
my
of
mistakes.
experiences in
Yeah,
1 hour and hopefully avoid years of mistakes.
exactly, exactly. You know, end to end, what do you do for product management, for innovation? I'm thinking about market analysis. So I do a lot of competitive market analysis on pricing, on what should I price things for? How should I price them? How should I deliver them to the market? You know, how do I deliver more for more value for the same price? How do I differentiate myself in the market? So being able to talk about that. Also, social media, okay? Nobody knows about social media till you own a business. And all of my business comes from social media. So all I talk about is search engine optimization, demographics, how to target, how to get those leads in the door to call, to be able to get people walking through my doors in both my salons, the metrics, the KPIs that you need to track, how to tie them to the business operations of the business, and how to establish the processes that can ensure you have the controls in place to know what is failing in your business if it is. How to weather storms like COVID, right? Being able to do that. Data, our data retention. What are some of the challenges we had? Some of the data redundancies that happen and how they're handled. Platforms, or even KPI reporting, dashboards, analytics, Power BI. All of those things are things that I've all had experience with. User experience is big for me. I love to learn new applications and test new platforms and see the challenges, as well as sometimes it's not going to be in an hour, but maybe somebody wants help rebuilding they have a platform and they need to reverse engineer the documentation.
So you
Maybe
can
they need.
start with an hour.
Yes, exactly. It can start with an hour and it can lead to more and more opportunities, and hopefully to generate income for those businesses and those people that are looking to reach out. Hopefully it's going to be such a big growth opportunity, and we're going to build a relationship. It's not that just that hour, it's that new relationship you're building and that network of people that are your assets, right? That are the people that help you succeed. Mentoring for sure on women in technology and dealing with diversity and inclusion issues and challenges. I've dealt with them. I've worked with them. I've managed teams that are growing and want to grow and develop. So I've got a lot of areas that I can help on. And I'm okay with researching some things before we meet, just to make sure I understand what your needs are. So, I would love, my biggest thing is helping people. I love to help people and I love to help them be successful.
I know this about you. This is why I asked you to be my first guest. And I appreciate it so, so much. You have no idea. Kind of like wrapping up a little bit. What would you give your younger Yvonne advice? What would
Oh,
you say to her?
okay. Well, I definitely think the biggest thing is take risks. Don't shy away from taking a risk, because lots of risks will gain rewards. Be confident, love yourself, and trust yourself. Trust your instincts, because we often don't. And really try and learn the most that you can learn from everybody, because no matter who you encounter on the street, you have something to learn from them. I think I would probably still follow the journey, even with all the mistakes that I've taken.
Well, you wouldn't really be you if you hadn't gone through all of that, right?
Yep. It makes you you, and it makes you
Yeah.
confident. And I think the biggest thing we always do is we always second guess ourselves, and we beat ourselves up a lot. So I think most importantly for anybody is don't beat yourself up, because you're wonderful and you have amazing talent and skills, and everybody's got pluses and minuses, but but that's what makes you just so perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what makes teams so strong, is the diversity. If everybody was the same, we would never get anything done.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to cover that I haven't yet covered?
No, I think you've been very thorough.
We get along, you and I. So once again, I really appreciate this time. So yes, you are open for work, and
Yes.
but you want work that is fulfilling to you, right?
Absolutely.
That you can be absolutely leverage, and you can have room to learn, to grow, and be passionate, and excel,
Yes.
essentially, right? So in the meantime, we've already covered all the things that you can be booked for by the hour to start whatever, to see where it goes.
Love it. Well, I look forward to meeting everybody and to really enjoying my time. That hour, I can't wait to meet you and help you succeed and hopefully achieve your goals. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and making me your first guest.
You're welcome, and thank you again.
Thanks.